Sessa's Philly Streetlight Hair Gel. Shine brighter than your rap sheet. Tired of your hair falling flat halfway through a scam? Want to blind the competition before you even say, yo? Introducing Sessa's Philly Streetlight Hair Gel, the only gel strong enough to keep you slick while you're ducking indictments. Features: unbreakable hold, keeps your style tight through wind, rain, and federal raids. Blinding shine, reflects light so hard pigeons mistake your head for a street lamp. Philly Tough formula, infused with cheesesteak grease and Septa fumes for that authentic neighborhood finish. Nick Palermo. I used it once, and 3 dames followed me home thinking I was Sinatra. Mikey the Hammer. I couldn't even swing my hammer at him. I was blinded by the shine. Lopez. Confiscated a jar during a raid. Jury's still out if it's hair gel or construction adhesive. Special offer. Buy 1 tub today and Sessa throws in a free witness protection comb. Makes you look like a new man in seconds. Sessa's Philly Streetlight Hair Gel. Look sharp. Stay shady.
Muggs, what the fuck you doing in there, you prick?
Bambi's Twisted Tails, Jack and the Beanstalk, Blood on the Vines. The Boy with Nothing and a Bad Idea. Jack wasn't starry-eyed, he was hungry. Ribs like fence pickets, shoes with more road than leather, and a ma who counted prayers because she had nothing left to count. Sell the cow, she said, voice torn thin. Coin or bread. Don't come home empty. He nodded like a good son and left like a bad one, already measuring the angles. At market he clocked the stalls, the guards, the marks. Then he clocked him, a scarecrow in a man's suit, grin stitched wide, eyes a little too shiny. The stranger dangled a pouch. Beans, he breathed, not food, power. Jack laughed till the laugh sounded like a yes. 1 handshake later, the cow was gone, and 3 beans rode home in his pocket like sins he couldn't wait to commit. Chapter 2, Beans' Blasphemy and the First Crack in the Ground. Ma saw the beans and saw red. You traded our last breath for junk? She slapped him on principle, cursed on instinct, and flung the beans out the window like she was pitching the devil back over the fence. They hit dirt. The house went quiet. Night folded in. Past midnight, the floorboards gave a nervous little moan. Then the yard split. A green-black spear punched the sky, veined in red like it had a heartbeat. Thorns the size of butcher's hooks glistened wet. The stalk didn't grow. It rose like something that had been waiting under the soil for its name. Ma hid under the table. Jack went to the window and smiled like a thief who just found a door somebody forgot to lock. Chapter 3, The Climb That Cut Back. The stalk was warm, not sun-warm, living warm. It flexed when Jack grabbed it like muscle. The thorns tested him, pricking, tasting, then biting harder when he didn't let go. He climbed anyway, palms bleeding, laughter fogging in the cold. Cloud mist hugged his face. Every leaf he brushed hummed a word that wasn't quite a word. Up, up, up. The sound wasn't encouragement. It was appetite asking for seconds. Jack said, "You'll get your tip when I get my take," and kept climbing till the world below turned small enough to forget. Chapter 4, A Castle Built from Yesterday's Meals. The clouds thinned, a fortress loomed, not stone, bone. Ribs arched into a gate, skulls were mortared into walls, and femurs paved a path that clicked under Jack's boots like a bad joke. Smoke leaked from chimneys, sweet in a way that wasn't sweet at all. Inside, mountains of coin and crowns, chalices still sticky with somebody's feast. There were tables big as barges and knives you needed 2 hands to steer. In the corner lay a giant's napkin, a sail-sized rag smeared brown red. Jack swallowed the shiver and whispered, "Jackpot," the way a church mouse might whisper, "Amen" by accident. The air tightened. A shadow heaved itself upright, more hill than man. Skin slack, eyes embered, breath like a furnace full of old oaths. The giant sniffed. The room trembled. Fee, fee, fo, fum. The syllables were footsteps. I smell the blood of a... He frowned like the word was on the tip of his tongue. Another one. Jack flattened behind a chest, pulse loud enough to be a signal flare. The giant peered, puzzled, then lumbered away, muttering, "Tomorrow." The way he said it sounded less like a plan and more like a promise the world couldn't wriggle out of. Jack stuffed a sack with coins till his shoulder begged for mercy. He didn't give it. He hustled to the ledge, hugged the stalk, and slid. The vine didn't like that. Thorns nicked him in little loving kisses that got less loving fast. Sap, dark and metallic, smudged his palms. He landed, grinning, giddy, filthy. Ma stared at the gold like it might explode. "What did you do?" "Short version? We ain't starving." He poured coin on the table. The pile hissed, a whisper like steam through teeth. Ma crossed herself twice and didn't sleep at all. Greed wakes earlier than roosters. Jack climbed again before the sky remembered its color. In a back chamber he found a harp, bone body, gold strings, and carvings of faces that looked like they were trying not to be seen. He plucked one note. It came out a scream, woman-long, chapel hollow, begging shaped like sound. The giant stirred in the next room. Jack grabbed the harp. It screamed louder. He ran with it shrieking in his arms, a siren that got all the right attention. He should have quit. He didn't. Third climb. Another chamber. A hen sat on straw, watching him with ink-drop eyes. "Go on, then," Jack whispered. It laid an egg that steamed the air gold. When the shell cracked, something dark laced the yolk. Not quite blood. Not blood either. Jack laughed because laughing is faster than thinking. "Welcome to the family," he told the bird, and tucked it under his arm like a purse that could scream if it felt like it. The giant's roar rolled through the halls, made the treasure dunes shiver and slide. He stomped into view. No confusion now, only aim. "Little thief," he rumbled. "Little another." Jack did the math. Distance to door, weight of sack, angle of the giant's reach. He ran out carrying too much of the wrong thing, which is to say he ran like Jack. Behind him the giant moved, slow but huge, like weather. The stalk swayed when Jack grabbed it. The thorns cut deeper for reasons of their own. They crammed the loot into the house. The harp wouldn't shut up. The hen clucked to the wall like it heard better advice there. The coins bled their shine into the table, leaving fingerprints of shadow where none had been. "Jack," Ma whispered, "these ain't blessings." "They ain't bills yet," he said, grinning through a bad feeling. "Relax. We're up." Word runs faster than fear. Neighbors dropped by. The sheriff sniffed around with a taxman's smile. A preacher came to bless the door and left his eyes on the gold by mistake. Every visit took a bite out a piece and left a napkin on the plate that said more. At night the harp keened until the walls got thin. Ma pressed a pillow to it and prayed through the feathers. Jack tucked coin under the mattress like sandbags against a flood he had personally invited. Thunder came from a clear sky, cattle screamed, trees leaned out of respect. The giant shouldered through the clouds and set one foot on the valley, then the other. The earth, which had survived worse, still thought carefully about splitting blood into leaves that licked it up like wine. Lopez's chain of custody handcuffs tore. Once you're in, you ain't out. You ever needed to keep something or someone locked up tighter than a nun's diary? Forget them cheap knockoff cuffs. Lopez's chain of custody handcuffs, are bureau-grade, mob-tested, and built to hold your secrets longer than a Philly grand jury. Features: tamper-proof locks. Even Mikey the Hammer couldn't bust these open, and trust me, he tried. Paper trail included. Each pair comes with its own chain of custody form, so you can track your perp, your evidence, or your mother-in-law. Dual use. Arrest criminals or keep your girlfriend from stealing the remote. Mikey the Hammer. I wore these for 2 days. Still don't know where the keys went. Nick Palermo. Lopez slapped 'em on me once. I ain't even mad. Felt like jewelry. Impeach. Best part? They don't rust, even when you dump the body in the Hudson. Special offer. Order now, and Lopez throws in a free, admissible in court keychain. Because nothing says romance like probable cause. Lopez's chain of custody handcuffs, for law, order, and disorder. At the base, Ma lost her breath and found her knees. Lord, she said, I taught him wrong or I taught him late. Either way, hear me now. The giant's shadow covered her like a roof that forgot to stop. His hand closed with the softness you use on a sparrow you plan to keep. For the first time that day, the harp shut up. Jack looked down and saw the lesson God was trying to get through his skull. He screamed a sound that didn't fix anything. He slid, hit dirt, and ran for the tool shed. The axe looked smaller than the problem, but bigger than doing nothing. He swung at the beanstalk. It sounded like chopping a cathedral. Sap bled black-red and hot. It smoked where it hit his wrists. The stalk screamed. Not air, not throat. Wood found a way. Fee, came the voice from above, closer now. Jack swung harder. He wasn't aiming to be brave. He was aiming to be done. The stalk tore, the sky lurched, and a piece of the world let go of another piece of the world. The giant tumbled, grabbing clouds that had no grip to offer. He hit the valley like a comet that changed its mind halfway through. Dust rose, bones bounced, the river forgot its banks. Silence happened in stages. When it finished, birds negotiated new routes. Jack stood in the middle of a diagram of consequences and panted like he'd earned anything. People crawled out, counted survivors, and picked sides. Gratitude showed up wearing suspicion's coat. Jack stacked the coins higher, sat on them like a mayor with a bad platform, and made speeches about providence that fooled exactly nobody. The hen laid something that looked golden and felt wrong. The harp sobbed lullabies to a child nobody could see. Jack slept on his riches and dreamed of beanstalks growing back into him. The money turned on the house first. Cold drafts, walls sweating, fire refusing to stay fire. Then it turned on the neighbors. A fight over a loaf turned into a funeral that needed 2 holes. A promise turned into a knife. The well water started tasting like pennies. The preacher preached shorter and left town on a Tuesday. Jack heard the coins whisper his name in a dozen voices. Ma's, the giant's, the salesman's, some he didn't know yet. They all said the same thing. pay. Crops withered like they'd seen the future. Babies wouldn't sleep, dogs wouldn't bark, and nobody remembered the jokes that used to work. Jack told himself it was a bad season, told others they were ungrateful, told the mirror he was right. The mirror didn't argue. It just showed him thinner and meaner. At night he sat with the harp and begged it to be quiet. It sang back a lullaby that had the word sorry in it too many times to be comforting. The ground twitched under his chair. Out in the yard, the stump he'd left began to swell like a throat holding back a scream. Vines shoved through, thicker, darker, thirstier. The new stalk went up faster than the last one, drinking moonlight, casting a shadow that pointed straight at Jack's door. From the clouds came not one voice but a choir of hunger. Fee, fee, fo, fum, we smell the blood of all of them. The harp stilled. The hen blinked. Jack stood, grabbed the axe with hands that finally shook, and smiled like a man who'd rather gamble than learn. "All right," he told the vine. "One more climb." The beanstalk purred like a house welcoming home its favorite mistake. Moral. Greed dresses like salvation and bills you like a devil. What you climb to steal will always find a way back down. Another nightmare baked fresh from Bambi's twisted tales. If this climb twisted your gut, smash subscribe, ring the bell, and step into the Pizzaverse, where fairy tales don't end cute, they end collected. Stick with Bambi and the crew. We serve horror hotter than a brick oven pie, capisci?